Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Discover Neo4j AuraDB. This is season 2, episode 10. And I'm super happy to have Irina Login joining me today. Irina is a technical curriculum developer at Neo4j, and she's one of the many masterminds that drive the amazing content that is Graph Academy, where you can find all these courses for beginners to advanced sessions from what you see today, a little bit, I guess, and also what we're going to do today. But in general, there is beginner sessions, there is Gen AI sessions, there is application building sessions on the various drivers and integration. So it's a wide area of learning and experiencing Neo4j. So if you're interested in that, check out Graph Academy. But Irina is one of those people, amazing people, I must say, who are building these content, who are writing these workshops, and who help us, make it easy for everybody to get started with Neo4j. So I'm very happy to have you today, Irina. Hello.
Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for the introduction. I appreciate your nice intros every single time, but let's give you some credit as well. You are the one who is planning all these events and making sure, they are up and running and working correctly, and yeah, everyone ready to go. So thank you as well for having me
Thank
and
you.
for organizing this perfectly every single time. So yeah, today is the 13th of April and tomorrow is Node AI. So
Day
yeah,
after tomorrow, 15th.
15,
Node AI
yes,
is
sorry,
15th.
my bad.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
bad. 15,
Yeah.
yes, we have the Node AI coming up, and we have a hackathon proposing to invite everyone to create some agents and compete in their creativity and how they would like to change the world, and yes, exploring more about neo4j and how can you use an agent in retrieving information. So I don't know if you have any flyer about that yet. We can just talk through.
Not yet, no. This is just very, very brand new, hot off the press, basically. So I haven't seen anything about the hackathon in detail. So yeah, if you have any more details, then I'm all ears.
Um, yes, so we have the post on LinkedIn, so we can share it as we go along as well. And yeah, please join Nodes AI on the 15th to find out more. Meantime, this is your cheat sheet. So if you're joining today, you will learn about how you can get started in competing about this hackathon. What are all the tools needed? So it's going to be a 1 hour cheat sheet. If you haven't done any Graph Academy courses yet, this is for you to recap or prepare for Nodes AI contest, and as well, even if you don't want to participate in the contest, so you can understand what are the discussions about. So just a refresher on what we've done, at least this quarter, in terms of conferences. So we had a few Graph summits already. We had some workshops on creating agents, on developing GenAI applications with the developer tools that we have. So this is just a fast forward recap or refresher if you have forgotten some topics, or if you haven't had time to catch up with everything. This is your to go moment. So this is a 1 hour get started with Aura, create an agent, and then find the logs and see how you can improve the security settings and so on and so forth. So this is the structure of today's webinar.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And as always, this is interactive. So if you have any question, any comments, anything you'd like to discuss with us, then always use the chat, and we'll have a look to cover a couple of your questions, or to at least talk about things. And if it's not about agents, it's also fine. Just feel free to use the chat.
Of course, absolutely. So today it's not just about agents, it's about having a look at Aura, how you can differentiate between tiers, how you can get started, and then you have your agent ready for production and ready to monitor and identify logs. So yeah, I now looking back, I wish we've done this sooner, but this is also a good time.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's always a good time to get started with this, and I think we talked about the topic a couple of times, and I think this is a good one to get everybody up to speed and exactly like you said, help with logging, help with the details about it, and it's easy to build an agent initially, but having it ready for production use case is another different thing. So I think that helps a lot. People might have tried this in the past and played around, but now I think people might be ready or more ready to get it actually somewhat in production. And I think this is a good reminder of a couple of tips and tricks and best practices what we recommend doing.
Of course, and if there's anyone who'd like to share as well from their experiences and what they've done so far, if they want any feedback, also please let us know. Post it on the community chat, on our community blogs as well. So yeah, we're here to help. So let's get started. I'm sure, Alex, you have already heard so much about Aura agents so far that. You are just like, let's go to the production level, let's do more. So yeah, let's see how far we can get along today. I am going to share my screen. Okay. So this is a fast forward of the Zero to Production workshop that we've presented during the Graph Summits, and a small snippet of the Aura in production. So it's all of them in one place. So if there's anyone, sorry?
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good mix and a good overview, and then we obviously invite you all to continue the workshops.
Exactly, yeah. So if you haven't done these courses already, I would recommend taking them. You don't need to for today. So we have the Aura Fundamentals, where you can take baby steps in learning about our cloud environment. We have the Aura in Production, which is an extensive course. It would take probably at least 3 to 4 hours to actually get this done, and the workshop Zero that we have on the side. So that is Zero to Production. So today, what we're gonna do, I've already created my instance. Let's see, my production instance is still creating. So if you haven't seen Aura so far, let's see if I can post things on the chat. Can I?
Yeah, you can. You should be. I mean, I either use the private chat and I'll copy it over.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way.
Okay, so this is the link I'm sending you for accessing Aura, console.neo4j.io.
Super. Yeah.
So this is the Aura link here. You can see I already have some instances. Some of them are running, incurring costs. The other ones are still creating. So this is just the newly created instance. If you haven't seen already how to create an instance in Aura, you go on create instance after you create your account. And then, yeah, I have exceeded a long time ago the free instance allowance, but you can do it if it's the first time. I would recommend using the professional or business critical. If you're already in ready for production, yes, business critical. Just for testing, for now, we're going to use the professional. This is what I've done. We start having some questions, so I'll take a break at one point and answer them, just so we are keeping the time in mind. So you create your instance here. You put in the name, the details, you configure whatever you'd like here for your sizing. I would just went for the default because this is just a testing instance. And then you just click on create instance. So I'll just click on here just to see how it looks like. It's gonna ask you to download some credentials. So keep these credentials safe. Don't commit them on GitHub. You know, all those security details that are important.
Yeah, but definitely download, because otherwise you won't be able to log into your instance.
Yes. Actually, there is one option here, which is called Recover Database Credentials.
Yeah, okay. You can always do that, but that might take a little bit of time.
Better safe than sorry, correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Especially if you have production data, you don't want to mess up your credentials. So yeah, using a credential manager is very important. Yeah, so I have an empty instance here that I can connect to. So I can connect in 4 ways. I will explore these 3 ways, and the developer hub is separate. So if you want just to start writing queries, you can start writing queries here. I have some queries here from my previous webinars that I can just run. Let's see, can I still run this query? I don't think so. Yeah, it's outdated. Anyway, I have some Cypher queries. Sorry.
No, I wanted to say if you could zoom in a little bit, but if you're not running it right now, it's fine. But maybe for later. Yeah, I think that should be better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so getting back to our introduction, what we need to do is we will download some ready-made data. You can experiment at the same time with me. I will try to be as slow as possible, because I know if you are just starting with this, sometimes it can take a lot of time to kind of understand where is what and what's going on. So this is also part of the workshop 0. So I will send you the content. Workshop 0. So most part of this is from workshop 0. So if you just take this workshop on your own, this is where you're going to find it. It's always available. You don't have to worry about it, about missing out. So have a look at this on your own time. The idea is that what we're going to do, we're going to take the ready-made graph model, we're going to import it. We're not going to look at how to go in the deep end and model every node. And then we will run the import. This is the first part. So we need to have some data, right? So we're going to use a Northwind data model. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Right, so this is the data model that we're going to have. So we have a shipper, we have a customer, employee. So basically it's a demo sales data, okay? So this is the link that you need to download the zip file. So if you go, let me just try and copy. Let's see if it's going to work like this. Yeah, so this is going to take you to our GitHub account, and you will just download the zip file. So then what you have to do, let me go back to my instance. I go to import. So quick tour of Aura. We have get started, instances, graph analytics, APIs, agents, importing. So we're going to work with importing data for now. We're going to practice with writing some queries and explore. And we're going to create some agents, and then we're going to go through the operation as metrics and logs. So these are the areas where we're going to work in Aura. So now we'll go to tools and import. So I will go to create a graph model, open model with data. Let's see, Northwind. Okay, I think.
And here you just pick the data from the zip file. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm just choosing the zip file, and then I clicked on open model with data. Am I going too fast?
No, we couldn't see the finder in your So I was
Mac,
just making
Mac
sure.
sharing settings. I've just downloaded the zip file, and I was going through my downloads to find it and click on it to open it. Yeah, this is what I was doing. Nothing hidden, no secrets here. Just Mac sharing is not always the friendliest. Okay, so I clicked on this one, and then when I clicked on that, all these CSV files have been opened, covering all the information that we've seen in the data model diagram earlier. So I'm just gonna select, for example, in the category node, we have some properties here that are automatically populated. So just for you to learn about how to do all this modeling part, go through the workshop 0. This is the easiest one. You fast forward. We have modeling courses if you want to go in a deep dive about it. I would say for now, just stick to the basics, to the workshop 0, and you'll be just fine. So then you click on run import once you're happy with all of this. So we have customers, we have orders. You can see all these fields that were mapped from the CSV files. So if you have some CSV data, thank you, Alex. If we have some CSV data, we can just import it and then configure all these properties. So I'm just going to click on run import, select my instance where I want to import this data, and run import. You can see that it's happening. Fingers crossed. Okay, so this is what I like to see. So we have a green message. Our import was successful, and we can see here all these files that were imported. If you're curious about the queries that we had, we can just expand this. Yeah. So we're going to close this. We're happy with what happened. And then let's see. So if you go through the workshop that I've just sent you, you're going to see the same kind of slides. So you create your graph model, open model with data, review these files and make sure everything is as you would like to happen. If you don't like these properties, you can change them. And then we ran import. We selected the instance and it was successful. Now we're gonna run a test query just so we can, practice a little bit and learn how to identify the data in our graph. So I'm just gonna copy this Cypher query and run it in my instance. Okay, so I can see top 5 customers in the data that we've just imported. So just to confirm, this is not Cypher from this instance. This is Cypher. I've already had some Cypher templates from other instances, but here in the database information, I can see all the properties that I can query, and also you can see the instance here is the one that I've just created. So this is how you can confirm you're running the data in the instance that you want. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Write some queries, explore the data as much as you want. If you don't know how to write Cypher queries, we have our GenAI here that you can use as well.
Yeah, that's super cool now that it works, and you can just describe what you want, and it helps you create a nice Cypher query.
Of course. Now, for this to work, you need to have it enabled. So we're going to go to the organization settings. So I just clicked here on the left-hand side. And then I go to settings and make sure you have the GenAI assistance enabled. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the GenAI capabilities, right?
Yeah.
And then also have the Aura agent enabled, because later in a few minutes, we're going to create an Aura agent. So obviously, have this enabled as well. You cannot have you should not have these disabled because you want to use the capabilities as much as possible and you want to make your life easier. Okay, so we made sure these are enabled and we're going to go back. So let me go back to my instances. There we go. This was the instance. So this was the instance. We run a Cypher query. We can go to explore and I can see some graphs about the data. I can zoom in as much as possible. For example, we have a sales representative that is an employee and they have sold this order. And this order was shipped from Speedy Express. And you can explore all these data. So if you have an online store or you have some demo data from online stores that you are aware of, like Amazon, Shopify, and so on and so forth, you can model some demo data and you can have it in a graph shape. So we kind of explored these tools as much as we could. Let's see if we have any questions before we move on to creating agents.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions from Edixon. I don't know if you want to go over all of them. Maybe generally the first one he asks was about generally whether Aura agents differ from building agents using Aura plus LangGraph. If you know what the difference is between that, or if that is something we're not covering today.
So in the Aura agents, we don't use any developer tools. We don't write any code. Using LangGraph, you get to write code. You get to be more technical. But with agents, you'll see I'm not going to write any code.
No.
So that's the quick explanation. The more in-depth explanation, please have a look at our GenAI courses and our GenAI workshop.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And the other question maybe, can agent outputs be written back into the graph automatically?
Not automatically. So our agents are retrieval only, just so you don't completely mess up your data, right? Because otherwise it will be just a whole soup of everything without destroying the whole order that you have just nicely created, right? As you can see here. So we don't want to make a soup of data. We want to keep the data organized and in a flow that we need, right? However, you can take the output and you're going to see in a few seconds that you get also Cypher query and so on and so forth. And then you go back into Cypher, write the Cypher query to update your data, and of course you can do that. But automatically, no, just so we can prevent this data mix-up.
Yeah, not with Aura agents. Obviously, if you write your own agents, you can sort of get that going. But with Aura agents at the moment, not.
Yeah,
not. Now maybe one more question. Can Aura agents participate in multi-agent workflows?
Yes, and I will show you exactly how. You can enable the external endpoint for Aura agents for API and MCP. So once you have that URL, you can call your Aura agent from anywhere. So you can incorporate that, definitely.
Okay, cool. Let's continue.
If you want to learn more about this, we have the Aura Agents course. Do you know where to find it, Alex?
I look for it. Yes, I look for it.
Yeah.
And I'll share it.
Okay. So we have the Aura Agents course that is covering all these questions. It would be good to send it over. You don't have to go through all of it. Just go and pick your subjects of interest and give it a good read because that's super helpful.
Yep.
Okay.
Here you go.
Thank you. All right. So we are getting to the exciting part, and that is creating an agent. Just going to close this. And yeah, we just run some Cypher queries. I've shown you where to do that. So the agent is basically a graph machine that's doing all of this, but you don't get to see all of this happening. You don't get to program, you don't get to code. You can if you want to, but automatically you will just benefit from the experience and configure it as much as you would like. So basically, you take the input, the agent is going to plan and reason, is going to select a tool, is going to observe the results and execute whatever you want it, whatever tool is going to be there, and then it's going to give you a response. If it can't give you a response, it's going to tell you, sorry, I cannot answer this. I can either slice it down in multiple tasks, or I can give you this other information. So it's going to still give you some information, and you will decide what to do with it later. Okay, so we have the Neo4j tools. If you haven't heard about them, these are just retrieval tools. It just depends on your use case. However, the agent is just going to decide which tool to use, right? So you don't have to worry about this. Sorry, I shouldn't have clicked on progress. Okay, so let's go here. So in Aura, you can even create an agent with our GenAI machine. You don't have to worry about all the configuration steps if you don't know what to ask for. Based on your data that you have queried and explored upon, you will create an agent. So we're going to do just this. We're going to go and create an agent with AI. And then this is just an example, right? So we have to describe the role of the agent. So Aura knows exactly what to query for, where to go, how to find that information in your graph, right? So and then it's going to just retrieve that information. And the GenAI is only used to formulate the answer in a nice language. It's not making up any sort of data. Trust me, I tried to trick it a few times. It didn't work. At least not for me. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna expand this and we're gonna go for this step by step. Okay, so I can create an agent. Oh, by the way, you can also import an agent from another instance, but I don't have an agent from another instance, so I'm not gonna do that. But if you have, you can. Which is super cool.
That was brought up when we talked about the Aura Nodes AI agent that we built to explore the Aura the Nodes AI agenda, and it's interesting because you can then create versioning with your agents, and you can export an agent and give it a version number and make some changes, import it again, or export the other version, and you can compare the agents, and you can see at least how they are performing against changes you make. So it's another good way of keeping track of changes, keeping track of different versions of the same agents, and see what difference it makes when you edit a few things.
Yeah, that is absolutely useful. If you have the recording from there,
yeah, I can share that.
Yeah, that would be good to share as well. So I will create with AI. These are some agents from other instances. They are offline, so even if I would want to use them, I wouldn't be able to. I'm gonna use my production instance, so what I've just created, and then this is the prompt. So I'm just going to go back and just copy the prompt. And just click on create. Okay, so that was very quick. This is the preview of the agent. So the agent is not created yet. This is just the preview. On the left-hand side, you have all these details. You can give it a name. See, pre-nodes AI 2026 Northwind agent. And we have the description here, so it has automatically filled in this description. You can change it if you want to. I'm just going to leave it by default. For now, I'll keep this internal. So you can see here internal or external. So keep it internal until you decide to expose the endpoints, because the cost is going to incur as well. And I remember we were giving some credits, right?
We had a little challenge going on last week to where you can could win a couple of credits. I think we'll do something again over nodes. So if you join us on Wednesday, you'll be able to get another shot at it and get some free credits, and then probably we'll do something else later in the coming months as well for you to try it out without having to pay.
Awesome. I think the trickiest part is by the time you realize what you want to do with the Aura agents or any sort of AI tool, right? You're kind of running out of tokens, so it's always good to have more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we have here some tools that were just created by our agent, our GenAI agent. You don't have to know what these are doing. But the recommendation is to use as much as possible the Cypher template, because this is just writing Cypher and going inside the data as quickly as possible. Whereas a text to Cypher, it means it's taking some text, transforming, so it takes more time, and usually this might need additional iteration. So yeah, I'm gonna keep these tools. You can edit them if you want. You can change the Cypher queries. You can change everything you need. You can add more parameters. So this is the parameter is going to be using to query upon. So based on the customer ID, just like in a normal database. Yeah. Are you zooming in or?
Yeah, I was zooming in a little bit just because I think it's fine from your end, but I just wanted to see let everybody see.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't zoom in more because it would have been out of my screen.
Yeah, I can do a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm using the largest monitor though, so yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so don't worry about these tools for now. If you want to learn more about the tools, go into our agents course where you will learn more, and also check the documentation. Okay, so this is the preview. I'm just going to click on create agent. You'll see here the locker. It means it's an internal private agent. Thank you. I'm happy you're enjoying it. I hope this is cutting out all the all the details and sticking to the bare bones, exactly what you need to get started, get an agent, and then configure the logs. So yeah, we are still on time. Okay, so let's ask the agent some questions. If you have a funny question about the Northwind data or the sales, let me know in the chat, and I'm happy to experiment and do live surgery on our agents. How are the sales going in the last quarter? I have a special talent in doing typos during live streams, so apologies about that.
Yeah, I know. I have the same talent.
Okay. So it's telling me it cannot provide an answer to this question. It means there are no sales available for the last quarter. Okay. Me the latest sales information. Let's try and dive deeper. So for the previous question, it was doing some reasoning, trying to find the answer. It has turned into a query. It has given me an output of this query as well, but the result was null because probably I don't have this information. This is demo data, so probably I don't have this information. But it looks like in 1998, on the 6th of May, someone has ordered a pavlova cake, which is my favorite cake, by the way. So yeah, this is a very old classical data set, and obviously, yeah. What was I doing in 1998? That was the year preschool. That was the preschool year.
Maybe you did order that pavlova cake.
I was eating pavlova cake all the time. Maybe I ordered it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's made up data. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This is This was used in training for databases since before I learned to count pavlova cakes. So. But it's good that we're still using that data set even now with different kind of databases, and those who have learned and used this in training in the past can bring back the memories, and those who haven't, they get the taste of some retro databases and learned the new databases, the current century databases, and finding the same kind of information but using it in more different ways. So I have some data here and I can see the reasoning. I don't know if I can I upload screenshots in here in the private chat?
Not really, no. I can zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, if you can, that would be great because the font is really small. Even for me, on the maximum resolution screen is still small.
Yeah. Now it's a bit bare.
Okay, perfect. So you ask the agent as many questions as you want. I can see here the whole output of this is quite lengthy. And you can see here the tokens usage. So if you have a paid system, you can see the tokens. If you want to debug and use in a developer tools, you can get the invocation ID as well. So these are useful in the future when you go more in depth.
Yeah, super.
Okay. So here I can configure the agent. I can export as JSON. So why would I want to export this as JSON, you might ask? Well, if you're still asking, I'm going to answer this question. So I will export this as JSON. And when I go to import agent, yeah, I can choose another instance. And I'm just going to browse the file. So this is the finder that I'm browsing. Yeah, nothing secret.
Oh yeah, okay. So you can from
I can
instance to
just
instance you can copy it over. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this was for the other instance that was running. So now I have the same agent in another instance running. So I can if I click here, let me go through the configure. I can make this public. And I can enable the MCP server. So you don't see any link coming up or endpoint or URL because you first need to update the agent. And then,
okay.
Sorry?
Yeah. No, I was just wondering when then it's here. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So this was my first question when I was first learning about this, saying, okay, I've made it public. Where is the preview endpoint? Where there isn't any on the configuration page. You have to save it first. And then you go back to the configuration submenu here. And you can see, you can copy the external endpoint or the MCP server. So yeah, you would just get the endpoints and just use them wherever you need. In the Aura Agents course, you learn how to use them in Cursor, for example. We have some documentation on that. So feel free to go wild, but keep an eye on the credits.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So also for the previous agent that I've imported somewhere else, I can just delete it. The deletion is going to be forever, so you cannot recover this agent. Once it's gone, it's gone. So that was a deletion, just very quick. Okay. So we have 20 minutes left. Let's see. Yeah, I think 20 minutes are fine to go through the rest of the questions and the last part, which is identifying snapshots, logs, and access. Where is everything? Because this might take a while to figure out. Might be not the quickest part, but yeah, there is a whole course on this or in production. Have a look. It's very, very nice and very helpful.
This is again the Aura Agents course, or is this a different one?
Which one?
The one you're showing right now.
The one I'm showing right now is, so this is a, let's say a combination of multiple courses in one. But yeah, I can share the slides with everyone if there is interest. However, this part is from the Aura in production.
Aura in production, okay, that's good to know. Then I can share the Aura in production link as well.
Yeah, so just to recap, this is open model with data from any sort of importing course and workshop. The workshop 0 to production is the one that is what we've covered in here. And then the snapshots is from Aura in production. So workshop 0 and then Aura in production. This is more than enough, probably around 7 to 8 hours of very good content to go through.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I put the link in chat, but I also put everything in the YouTube video description. So if you're watching this on demand afterwards and you're wondering where these links are, you'll find them in the video description down below.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so because Aura is a cloud service, we can do snapshots, right? Just like any sort of virtual machine that's working with cloud. I don't know when was the last time you or the audience have worked with snapshots?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we kind of tend to park the idea of taking a backup or a snapshot of our data.
Yeah.
And then what happens? I don't know if you have ever accidentally deleted your WhatsApp data. And then you couldn't recover it because you skipped taking a backup through Google. And that happened to me a few times until I realized I need to take backups. And backups are important.
It's always important. This is one of these things, you never think of it. And then when it happens, it's really like, oh, why? Everybody knows it's important. Nobody wants to do it. It's boring, but.
Yeah. So this was just a real life example. Imagine if you had your graph database and you would pause the instance, or you would get your instance deleted and you forget that it was scheduled for deletion and you've lost your data, right?
Yeah.
You have to go again for all the courses and do all the importing because you forgot how to model data and how to do that and how to do the other one. So if you don't want to go through recapping information every single time, take a snapshot and just resume from backup. Okay. So the snapshots are found on the Aura console. Let me zoom in actually. Where is it? Oh, there you go. So in my instance, I have my instance here. I'm just going to click on the ellipsis. So I don't click on open because opening is going to open the tools to use for exploring the data. I will click on the ellipsis right next to it. If you can zoom in a bit, that would be amazing. Let's see how much I can.
Let me see what I can do.
I try zooming in. Yeah, the font is quite small. Sorry about that.
Here we go.
Yeah. So I will take a snapshot, and I clicked on the snapshot option, and I can have the overview. I can go through the snapshots, so I can show only what can be exported. So these are scheduled. So we have automatic snapshots for advanced tiers of Aura, which is helpful because if you forget to do it, then we're taking care of it.
Yeah.
Easy job. So here is restore from snapshot. So if you have accidentally messed up your data, you've made a soup of sales data. Yeah.
Yeah, let the agent automatically write back garbage.
Exactly. You don't, yeah. You still have an option. You are still hoping for the best, right? So you can restore from this snapshot. As per this timestamp, whatever data you had is going to be restored. So this is a scheduled snapshot. I can export, or I can even create an instance from this snapshot. So let's say I want to create an instance to go to production. Yeah. I will choose business critical, because if I am a company and I want this data to be used directly in production, I will go for business critical because I have more security options, more detailed role-based access control, and so on and so forth. And also the SLA is higher, the high availability is higher, so you have advanced monitoring and so on and so forth. So all the complex production capabilities are in business critical, and you can just create a clone. So the clone is going to be created, and you can add whatever information you want. Also, you have the option to deploy in a virtual dedicated cloud. So for example, for security instances and so on and so forth, I would recommend the virtual dedicated cloud. But we don't have cybersecurity related information. I've downloaded my credentials, so my data, yeah, it's still creating. So my database is still, yeah, it's going to take a few minutes to create. So this was my instance. So if I go now to backup and restore, I can just browse, and in the downloads, I should find the snapshot that I've downloaded. Let me download it again. Okay, so it was a .backup file that was downloaded. I don't think you can see that because Mac sharing.
Yeah,
it's just a dot. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, we cannot see, but it's yeah, it's relatively clear what you're doing.
Okay. So I also clicked on take snapshot, so you can see the difference. This is called on-demand snapshot, and this was scheduled. So I can also anytime use this option, and I can use the already available data. So if I go to restore from backup file, I will go in my Finder and search for the .backup. So I'm just trying to find it. It's always when you have 5 minutes left and you're trying to rush through. Okay, let me just download it one more time. There we go. So there it was. So it's asking me if I want to replace all the data with the one that I've just downloaded. I'll just click on upload. It's the same data, but just so you can see how it works. Upload complete. It was done because I didn't have quite a lot of data. It might take a few minutes if you have more nodes, but yeah, it was very quick for me. So I have gone through all of this. So if you want to do it all over again or in production, it's going to cover all of this. Now we can go through the metrics. So the metrics are very important for performance. And also we can look at the logs. So these are two important options for whenever you want to configure data or understand what happened, why is something not working correctly. So let's have a look. So I go to operations. So it's a separate menu, different from the tools. And it's easy to confuse with the project settings. So in the project settings, you have users, billing, usage, activity feed, and settings. But in operation, you have metrics and logs. So the first one is the CPU usage. That is quite important whenever you see, let's say you have some data in production that is not getting retrieved correctly, or you notice some instance issues, you would go into the metrics. So these are the first three that are shown. Thank you for the link, Alex. We also have some instance metrics, so the heap memory, the garbage collection, and so on and so forth. You can see here some spikes because I kept doing some operations in it. The garbage collection, so how quickly the information was processed, and so on and so forth. The bolt connection count is for whenever you connect to your instance through the bolt protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, these are some more advanced information. Query rate, query latency. This is quite important. Whenever you have some queries that are running slowly, you would look at this metric. So have a look at Aura in production. Of course, this is going to be helping you understand more of this metric. So if you're an ops engineer working with Aura, this is quite helpful. And then going to logs. So these are the queries that I've just run. There are some queries that have failed as well, so I can look into these queries. But a more important one from my perspective is the security one. So whenever you're not sure if, let's say, for example, your agent has been queried from the right place, or you're not sure if the credentials have been compromised or not, you would go here and click on fetch logs, let's say for the last hour. I don't have any warnings, which is good. But I have this this error. So list configuration permission has not been granted. So I can look more into this. So that means that there are some warnings and errors that are happening with my user, and I can have a look, and also I can ask my system administrator to investigate for me further on. So you can also give access to the security teams that you work with, and then they can also keep an eye on the security of your instance, which is super cool because, yeah, you always want to have the security team involved and keep them in the loop. So I logged in today, and this is the authenticated user. If there are any other external databases and servers, they will be shown here. So I can get more details. And so these are line by line logs. And I can also export them so you can see a JSON or CSV format. So if we go to billing, which is an important step when you want to configure your agent to be external, what you have to do, you go to either redeem credits. So this is very important when you get the Node.ai credits. This is where you need to activate them.
Yeah.
Oop. Okay. So you go to redeem credits and you put here the code that you will get from Alex. And also you can add a payment method. So you can even add AWS Marketplace, Azure, or GCP. So you don't even have to put your card if you already have some billing in some other places configured that are directly linked to your Aura instance. You can just subscribe and that's it. Yeah, so from a security perspective, you can configure single sign-on, IP filtering, to authentication with Aura user. So this is what you'll need to authenticate through a third party. For Cursor, for example, when you want to expose your agent MCP to Cursor, right? So you want to, maybe you want to expose the agents for just one instance. You would just disable the rest from here. So that's very easy. Yeah, so this is where you would activate or deactivate. So if you don't know where you've configured your Aura agents, or you want to make sure they're not used anymore, you will just deactivate from here, and no external tool will be able to call on your agent.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
You have this place where you can deactivate this and say, okay, I don't want to do it anymore.
And from a security perspective as well, because sometimes I forget, where did I activate that agent? Where, I'm just exploring through projects. And I'm like, where did I do that? I don't remember. Okay, I'm just going to go and deactivate it from the main console just to make sure I sleep well at night. There's gonna be no external charge that I cannot control on my card, right? So yeah, this is where you'll deactivate your external tools to authenticate to your instance. And yeah, this is what we wanted to cover for today. Do we have any other questions?
There was one I quickly answered in chat, but we can talk about it as well. Itchin asks, how can we make RAG with pgvector plus Neo4j? So you can use external vector stores. You can Neo4j also has an internal vector store capability, so you can whatever you prefer. But yeah, that's a typical approach. Especially in the graph RAG world, where you say, okay, use a vector store for the vectors for, let's say, chunks of documents, and use the Neo4j graph in addition for the context on the relationships around it, and then create a pipeline like that.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. You are an expert in vectors now. You've done you've done so many. You've seen so many streams on vectors that you know way more than me. So,
but there is also, speaking of which, there's also a vector course, obviously, on the Graph Academy. So you can.
That's exactly what I wanted to suggest. Yeah.
Cool. I think with that, we're almost at the end of the show today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you very much, Irina, for participating today, for providing the guiding through the content, and hopefully, this was an interesting little teaser for a couple of the interesting workshops that we are having available, or courses on Graph Academy. So if you're interested in that, check this out, play around with it. You could just also go on Aura, use your free instance, and create a couple of agents and play with that. And if you think, oh, something is not quite feeling right, then you could also come back to the documentation or to the workshops and get a little bit more of a how-to on that. And yeah, with that, I would like to invite you all, like, we said in the beginning, on Wednesday, we already have talked about it. We have Node.ai on Wednesday taking place all day, depending on where you are. But it starts here in Europe. It starts at 4 p.m. Until the evening. In Eastern, it starts at 10 a.m. And so you have a very, very interesting session with a couple of panels, with interesting hands-on sessions from community members, from Neo4j users and Neo4j staff members from around the world. So I hope you can yeah, you can check that out. If you because I share this here, if you want to reach Irina, I shared her LinkedIn account link in the chat as well, so you can talk to her there. And yeah, I think with that, we're at the end of today's session. I hope I see you on Wednesday. Thank you very much again, Irina, for participating and for the interesting session today. And like we said in the beginning, if you have any questions, any comments, use the Neo4j community forum, post it there. Let us know what you think of the series or generally, and give it a thumbs up. And yeah, have a good rest of your week.
Thank you as well, and have a nice week. Please let me know your questions and feedback as well. And yeah, follow Node.ai because we're gonna talk about more exciting topics.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.